Hello friends, welcome to the session of Quality Hub India. Myself Aryan Vishwakarma, and today in this session we are going to learn about 5S, which is a very systematic and scientific way of workplace management. So friends, as we have discussed, 5S is a very scientific way of workplace management which provides us a framework for implementing this system in a step-by-step order. Now let's understand all these 5 steps. The first S is sorting, which is known as seri in Japanese and chatai in Hindi. The second S is set in order, which is known as sito in Japanese and suvavastha in Hindi. The third S is sign, which is known as shiso in Japanese and swachhata in Hindi. The fourth S is standardize, which is shikatsu in Japanese and mankikaran in Hindi. And the fifth S, which is the last S, is sustain or sustenance, which is shitsuke in Japanese and anusasan in Hindi. So friends, for implementing 5S, we follow these 5 steps one by one for overall improvement of our workplace. Now let's understand them one by one in more detail. Friends, our first S is sorting. In sorting, we have 4 ways of managing sorting. The first one is not needed at all. That means we discard or remove all the materials which are not needed at all, which are either rejected or obsolete in nature. The second is needed but not now. At home, we need blankets and quilts, but those are needed in winter, not in summer. That means blankets are needed, but needed only in winters. So if they are not needed in summer, we should keep them somewhere outside in some storeroom which is not part of our routine work area. Third one is needed but not here. That means those materials which are needed for your organization but may not be needed in a particular area. Say for an example, in 5S we make zones. So in one of the zone, while reviewing, the zonal leader identifies that some materials are not part of his zone. So the material is needed in fact for the organization but not needed for that particular zones. So he might need a red tag over there and can inform the supervisor to remove the material from his zone. Friends, there are many materials in any of the organization which may not be needed at all or which may be needed but not in a particular area. So that needs to be identified and kept in a separate red tagging area with a tag in it. Friends, I've seen that in many of the organizations while launching 5S and working on 1S, they identify many materials which after selling, which may not be needed for the organization at all, and after selling them, they make good cash out of that. And the fourth aspect is needed but not so much quantity. If I give you a household example, we might be needing milk every day, but we may not be buying the milk for a month as a whole. We might be procuring on a daily basis. That means we are not keeping inventory for a longer period of time. So basically this point focuses on inventory management. Needed but not so much quantity. We should be focusing and managing the materials in the amount needed on a routine basis. So these are the common 4 aspects being used in 1S or sorting. In 1S we also use red tag tactics for visual sorting. Most of the companies, while launching 5S, they develop a red tag, and for sorting on all the unwanted materials, they put red tag and keep the material in red tagging zone for the supervisor or the senior management to review them and take decisions. Now friends, let's understand some of the important guidelines for sorting. Remove all the obsolete materials. Materials like parts, jigs, toolings, which are not required and has become obsolete after design change. Remove all the defective materials, parts or materials which cannot be used at all, and all the scraps that also needs to be removed. Remove all materials which are also not in its place or kept in a wrong place, and all unnecessary materials which are extra or not useful at all that also needs to be removed. Now let's understand second S, which is set in order, which is also known as systematic arrangement. Here in set in order or second S, we use a punch line which is place for everything and everything in its place. That means we need to provide place for keeping every materials, and we should be keeping as a routine practice those materials in its place. So by looking at this, you can understand that how systematically the tool has been organized. So second S focuses on putting the material in an organized manner. Here you can see a shadow board which is very commonly used in manufacturing companies for keeping tools used for production or for maintenance activities or for toolroom activities. And this is an example of a token board which has names of personnel working in various important departments like maintenance and toolroom. Let's now understand the use of shadow board and token board with an example. Mr. Mohan wants this hammer for a maintenance activity. He takes this hammer to the machine and the place is empty. Mr. Rams comes looking for the same hammer, and while coming to the board, he sees that the hammer is not available. And he also sees that token of the person who is taking the hammer is being put over there. So with this you can see that first of all, the second person need not be searching for the tool, because by looking at the shadow board, he can come to know that the tool is not available. Second benefit is that he also comes to know that who has taken that tool. So he can call the person and ask him at what time he will complete his work with the hammer, so that he can organize his work accordingly. Friends, you can see over here in the shadow board there are many tokens being used, which indicates that those tools have been taken by some personnels. Here also we can see one example of visual management which is also used in 5S. This is a display arrangement for hydraulic oils in a manufacturing company. The hydraulic oils are being kept in a transparent jar. So the jar is also being marked. So with that you can understand that how much amount of oil is there in the particular jar. We use count free and search free technique in second S. So by putting a transparent jar and marking on the jar, we need not be counting or searching for required grade of oil. And also you can see that all the jars have color codes. These color codes basically shows the grade of oil each jar is having. Also you can see that each of the jar has red line and green band. The red zone or red band basically shows when the oil comes to the red zone, that means amount of oil is less, it is not going to fulfill our daily requirement or the frequency for which this label has been set. Also you can see that each of the jars are having small tab hanging with that. This is basically to stop the spillage of oils while opening and closing the tap of the container. And also you can see that each of the tabs are also having same grade color marking which is also there on the jars. The jars are also being kept at waist height, so the operator or user coming over here, they need not be bending, which basically avoids motion waste. The next example we are having over here is of file management. You can see over here we have a V-shape tape pasted on these files. It is a visual indication of file management. So if anybody takes this file and keeps somewhere else, the V-shape will not be formed. So visually he can come to know that either the file has been taken out from the place or it is being kept in some other location. Even though there are file numbers in each of the files, but visual management is always considered much better than this numbering system. Now let's understand how to implement systematic arrangement. First of all, we need to analyze our status. What is my current status? How the material are being organized right now. Then we can decide which thing needs to be placed where. That means place for everything. And then you can decide how they should be put away. That means everything in its place. So these 2 points basically talks about place for everything and everything in its place. And then get everybody to follow rules through indexing, labeling, etc. Now let's understand some of the benefits of implementing second S or systematic arrangement. Second S helps us in fast retrieval of things. That means it avoids our search time and it results in elimination of search time. It also provides us opportunity to correct the abnormalities. By putting things in a systematic manner, the abnormalities are clearly visible, we can identify them and then we can initiate actions to improve upon them. It also helps us in space saving. We do away with our clutter-free environment and put everything in a systematic way, which also improves our efficiency as we have the things available whenever and wherever they are needed. This is an example of an office where you can see the systematic arrangement has been done. All the equipments, in fact the PC and keyboards are being kept in place. They have the place identified for them. The places or the areas have been identified, marked. So it's a very good visual identification and a systematic arrangement. Friends, we also use RYGB methodology for inventory management. Here you can see that for inventory management, this company is using color coding. This red line indicates critical zone. That means if the inventory level going down to red zone level indicates that desired level of inventory is not there. When the material is up till the yellow zone, that means it's a reorder level. That means we need to raise requirement for procurement of the material. When the material or the inventory is till the green zone, we are in safer side. That's what the design level is. And when the inventory goes to the blue zone, that means we have excess amount of inventory. And as we know that excess inventory means your money is blocked. And these days, there are many good companies, they are struggling because of working capital. And in most of the cases, working capital is blocked through huge number of inventory. Now let's understand third S, which is sign, and which is also called spick and span. Here you can see an example of an airport, how beautiful and shining it is. So in third S, we put system in place so that our workplace is clear, free of all unwanted garbage, dust, and is shining. In many of the companies, they practice a system of every day 5 minutes or 10 minutes for 5S activities. And in the scheduled time, all the staffs and associates, they work in their dedicated area to clean up and to manage their area with all 5S principles. Friends, there are some basic principles for making the area clean and tidy. If you have less number of items, it will take less time to clean and it will be easier for manage them also. And when we talk about cleaning, it means cleaning with meaning. And when we are cleaning, we should be cleaning all the 6 sides of all the equipment. That means front, rear, left, right, top and bottom. All the 6 sides, we should be cleaning them. And while cleaning, we should be inspecting them also. We should be observing if there is some broken parts, some loose wire, some noise is there, some vibration is there, some burning smell is there. So these are the 2 things you should remember while doing third S. Cleaning with meaning, and while cleaning, you should inspect. Cleaning is inspection. Now let's understand fourth S, which is standardization. Here you can see this is a picture of a Delhi road. You can see the signage has been displayed over here, which is lots of things standardized. You can see in all the boards, first they have used Hindi language, then English language. The font is being standardized, color is being standardized, height of display has been standardized, board size has been standardized. This arrow mark also has been standardized. So across Delhi, you will find these signboards in a standardized manner. Here you can see a board displayed in a mall, which basically shows level of standardization. So by looking at the board, you can come to know that which floor has which all shops, what is the shop name, and what do they sell. This is an industrial example of standardization. So this company has standardized many things. You can see they have standardized marking for walkways, for directions, for crossing area, for danger marks, and for various pipelines. The color codes have been standardized. Even for the door opening, the signage has been fixed and standardized. And here in this side you can see color code for pipelines. So red pipeline carries water, white pipeline carries compressed air, and brown pipeline carries oil. And the same way many other things have been standardized. And also while in fourth stage, we should be making sort, set in order, and sign a habit. That means up till now we should be putting a practice of making this 1S, 2S and 3S a ritual. And this can be done by fixing responsibilities for implementing and evaluating systems. And this is generally being done by dividing the plant or the organization into various strategic zones, wherein each zone has a zonal leader with team member with him. And it is the responsibility of the zonal leader to manage his own zone with the help of his team members. We should also integrate their responsibility in such a way so that things become a routine for them. And we should be also monitoring and managing in such a way so that system is working and sustaining itself. The fifth S is, which is the last S or the last part of this methodology, is sustenance. So sustenance can be maintained by training everybody within the organization, starting from the frontliners, middle management and top management. Putting a system of audits or monitoring. There can be different levels of audit by the zonal leader himself, audit by an expert auditor, wherein we identify opportunity for improvement and we keep on taking action on them and we keep on improving. Now let's understand process of sustenance. Put a system of daily monitoring. Encourage your zonal leader to monitor himself with the help of team member, and the top management should be also monitoring the progress of 5S implementation and the benefit out of 5S implementation. Improve ownership by allocating areas. We have already discussed on this. Divide plant into various strategic zones and allocate zones to the zonal leader. You can also run red tag campaigns in 1S. Identify all unwanted materials, keep them in red tag area and tag them. You can communicate importance of 5S and you can also communicate by taking pictures through fixed point photography. You can take before picture and after making improvement, you can take after picture and compare before and after and show improvement. You can also use structured communication through various bulletin boards, email communication, toolbox talk, town hall meeting. There are various levels and ways of communication you can use to communicate the importance of 5S and for its sustenance. Continuous training for all employees is a must. Each employee at every level in all the departments should be trained in 5S. And they should also understand importance of 5S and importance of 5S to the organization. Periodic audits at all levels is a must for 5S sustenance. And we should also motivate people through recognition. For that you can use some reward system, you can use rolling trophy system or any other mechanism. Now friends, let's understand some of the benefits of implementing a structured 5S. The 5S will help you minimize your defect, reduce rejection, reduce your customer complaints. It will also help you reduce your cost of materials and utilization of resources. You will also get benefit in delivery performance by throughput optimization, improvement in your delivery by delivering correct material in right quantity in right time. 5S also helps you improving safety drastically by elimination of accidents and reduction in pollution. Motivation level of people also goes up, their efficiency goes up, they take ownership and make improvements. Friends, I hope you must have enjoyed and learned this 5S methodology of structured workplace improvement. Don't forget to visit our website qualityhubindia.com and you can buy our online certification program by visiting our site courses.qualityhubindia.com. There are many courses available at nominal charges which you can learn and get certified in your leisure time. This is Arvind Vishwakarma signing off now. Until the next video, take care friends. Jai Hind.